Koyemi, and in this lesson, we're going to be continuing from where we stopped the last time, solving some past SSCE questions. Come along. And the first question before us is what you can see on your screen. You have to find the truth set of that equation. Now, the first thing that you want to know is, when they say find the truth set, what does that word truth set, what does it mean? This truth set, what does it mean? So when you hear something like this, the question becomes so ambiguous and you find it difficult to solve the question. But once you understand this truth set, it becomes very easy. Now, what does truth set mean? Truth set is a mathematical or logical set containing all the elements that make a given statement of relationships true when substituted in it. Now, what that means is that we have to find all values of x such that when you substitute those values into this equation, it will make this expression true. That's what they call truth set. And as we progress, you will learn, what differentiates a set from an ordinary number. So what you are just asked to do here is just find the value of x. I'm very sure that if the question had been solved for x, a lot of students would have been able to, attempt this question easily. But this is just to confuse you the more. But then now that you know that a truth set is talking about all values of x, such that when you substitute into this equation, this expression becomes true. So all you just need to do is simplify this and solve for x. And the first thing you want to do is you want to expand these two given terms, x minus 2 square and x plus 1 square. If you've forgotten how to expand, I will kindly advise you that you should refer to maybe a textbook or a video course on expansion. Maybe that should be in GS3 or thereabouts. But once you have an idea about to expand, then this will follow. X minus 2 raised by 2 is the same thing as x minus 2 multiplied by x minus 2. In the same way, x plus 1 square is also the same as x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 1. So when we go ahead to expand, this actually follows. This x multiply the whole of x minus 2, then this minus 2 also multiply the whole of x minus 2, so that we have something of this nature, and then this follows. So by the time you do that, we have x squared minus 2x, because now from what we did the other time, x times x is x squared. X times minus 2 will give us minus 2x. Minus 2 times x will give us minus 2x. Then minus times minus is plus, so we have 2 times 2, 4, and that will give us plus 4. So when you multiply minus 2 by minus 2, you get plus 4. And that's why we're having this now. So then if you collect like times, minus 2x will give us minus 4x. So then the expansion of x minus 2 square is the same as x squared minus 4x plus 4. Also, we need to expand x plus 1 square. And by the time you do this, if you follow the same procedure that we used earlier, by the time you do this, you arrive at x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now the next thing you want to do is substitute the value of the expansion into this equation that you are solving. So anywhere you see x minus 2 square, replace it with x squared minus 4x plus 4. And anywhere you see x plus 1 square, replace it with x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then this follows. So when you do that, we have x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus this 3 equals to x squared plus 2x plus 1, then minus 6. Then by the time you solve further, we have x squared minus 4x, 4 plus 3 will give us plus 7. Plus 1 minus 6 will give us minus 5. So this automatically becomes this. And then the next thing you want to do is you need to collect like terms. And then we have this. When you collect like terms, this x squared, once it crosses over to the other side, it takes a negative sign. When plus 2 crosses to the other side, it takes a negative sign too. And when minus 5 crosses, when plus 7 crosses to this other side, it takes a negative sign. So then this now becomes x squared minus 4x minus 2x, which is equals to minus 5 minus 7. Now minus 5 minus 7, if you do that correctly, that will give you minus 12. Because we normally use as illustration, minus denotes debt. So you are owing 5 naira, you are also owing 7 naira. That means your total debt is what? 12 naira. So we have minus 5 minus 7 to be equals to minus 12. And also minus 4x minus 2x You are owing 4 naira, also owing 2 naira. That means your total debt is what? Minus 6. So this becomes minus 6s. X square, we cancel out s square. So we have this. Minus 6x equals to minus 12. So by the time you divide both sides by minus 6, then we have x equals to 2. Now, the value of x equals to 2. When you put x in that equation that you were given to solve, it's going to satisfy that equation. But this is not a set. This is just a figure. So we can't call this a set. So what makes this a set is the statement that we have made. Hence, the truth set is, now if you write it as 2, it's going to be wrong because this is not a set, this is just a number. But by the time you include this bracket, we call this a curly bracket, then it becomes a set. So this is, because sometimes you might have more than one answer for x. So all those answers that you have for x, you enclose them in a curly bracket, and that makes it a set. So that's the final answer. I hope you are able to follow that. Now, question 2. We have to evaluate this expression. This is SOD. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to rationalize that expression. And what does it mean to rationalize? Simply put, rationalization simply means let's look for a way of removing root from denominator. Look for a way of removing root from here. We don't want to have any root here. And how do we do that? All we just need to do is multiply both the numerator and the denominator with root 2. And when you do that, we have something like this. Minus 4 minus root 2 divided by root 2, then will now give us this particular expression. Nothing has changed actually if you observe very well, because root 2 divided by root 2 is still the same thing as 1. So this expression is, has not changed from what we were given. So all we are just trying to do is we are trying to modify the expression such that we don't have root here. And when you do that, this follows minus 4 minus root 2 multiplied by root 2 divided by, then root 2 times root 2 will give us root 4. Root 2 times root 2 will give us root 4. And this multiplied by this will give us something like this. And of course, we know that root 4 is the same thing as 2. So that's why we're having this now. Minus 4 times root 2 is minus 4 root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is root 4. And root 4 is what? 2. That's how we're having 2. Root 4 here also is what? 2. That's how we're having 2. The next thing we want to do is, we can still simplify further by doing what? Factorizing 2 out. 2 is common to them. 2 is common to these two terms. So when you factorize 2 out, then it becomes this 2 into bracket minus 2 root 2 plus 1 divided by 2. Then these 2 will cancel out these 2. And then we have minus 2 root 2 plus 1. So we can still rearrange this so that we have 1 minus 2 root 2, which gives us the final answer, because we can't simplify this any further. So this is the final answer. Now the next question. Mary and Charity entered into a business partnership and agreed to share their profits in the ratio 4:5 respectively. When you see this respectively, that means that in the same order that the question is being given, Mary takes this 4, Charity takes this 5. That's meaning of it respectively. Now, if Mary received 5,000 naira less than Charity, how much profit did they make? Mary received 5,000 naira less than Charity, which means that Charity's share is more than Mary's share. So Mary received 5,000 naira less than Charity. How much profit did they make? How do we solve question like this? Now see, the first thing we want to do is we can say let the amount Charity received be X. You can also start with Mary depending on how well you can interpret the question. And let me tell you, if you cannot understand simple grammar, it might be difficult for you to interpret question of this nature. So you can also start with Mary, depending on how vast you are when it comes to use of grammar. Now, but in my own case, I decided to start with Charity. Let the amount Charity received be X. But from the question, we were told that Mary received 5,000 naira less than Charity. So which means that if the amount Charity received is X, that means that Mary will receive X minus 5,000. So that means Mary is receiving what? X minus 5,000 in ratio 4:5. So now that we know this, then we can now have this expression. Mary is denoted as 4, Charity denoted as ratio 5. And then we know that Charity now is taking X and Mary is taking X minus 5,000 naira. So all we just need to do is fix them accordingly. When you do that, x minus 5,000 falls under 4, x falls under 5. Now there are two ways to simplify this. The first way is you can decide to cross multiply and equate them such that you have 4 multiplied by x equals to 5 multiplied by x minus 5,000. That's method 1. And the other way you can do it is you can decide to say 4 divided by x minus 5,000 equals to 5 divided by x, which is what we are going to do. And when you do that, we have 4 divided by x minus 5,000 equals to 5 divided by x. Then the next thing we do is simplify these expressions. Solve for x in this expression. And to do that, what to do is cross multiply. When you cross multiply, we have 4 multiplied by x. 4 multiplied by x will be equals to 5 multiplied by x minus 5,000. Then we can expand this bracket. When you expand this bracket, it becomes 5x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 5,000 will give us 25,000. Then we can now collect like terms. 5x cross to the other side, it takes negative sign. So that we have 4x minus 5x equals to minus 25,000. 4x minus 5x will give us minus x equals minus 25,000. Then this x can cancel out this x. So that means x equals to 25,000. Now, at the beginning we said let x represent the amount that charity takes. So which means that charity is taking 25,000 naira. And from the question we're told that Mary received 5,000 less than charity. Now, if charity is taking this 25,000 naira, can you just pause the video and think about it? How much do you think Mary will collect? If charity is collecting 25,000, and from the question you were told that Mary is collecting 5,000 less than charity. So how much do you think Mary is going to collect? Alright, thank you. If you got that correctly, Mary is going to collect 20,000 naira. So if charity receives 25,000 naira, Mary will receive 20,000 naira. But the question states that how much is their total profit? Now their total profit will be 25,000 plus this 20,000, which in turn gives us 45,000 naira. And the last question. A man bought a car which cost 5 million naira from a dealer on hire purchase. He pays a deposit of 3 million naira and agrees to pay the balance at 8% compound interest per annum. If he pays 1 million naira at the end of each year, how much will be remaining to be paid after 2 years? Now, what differentiates compound interest from simple interest is the fact that the interest is accumulating. Let me use that word. What do we mean by a compound interest? What that means is that at the end of first year, the interest you are supposed to pay is going to be added to your principal. And once it's added to the principal, it's going to form the principal for the second year. Which means that the interest, is accumulating, so it's being compounded. Unlike when you are calculating simple interest that the principal can remain the same over a period of 5 years, then you get an answer. But for compound interest, the interest after first year is added to your principal to calculate the interest after second year. That's what compound interest does. So when you have, when you want to find the interest over a period of, let's say, 5 years, it becomes cumbersome if you start doing it one after the other. Starting one after the other. After first year, you calculate the interest, add it to your principal, calculate the interest after second year, add it to the principal, calculate the interest after third year. It becomes principal, and that's why we have this formula. Now, if we have a formula to evaluate that, we are going to see that very shortly. Now, if he bought it 5 million and he pays 3 million, that means the debt that is remaining is 2 million naira. So for him to pay at 8% compound interest, I beg your pardon, he paid 3 million from 5 million. So that means he have 2 million to pay at 8% compound interest. So then the compound interest rate is 8%, as we can see. And the principal now will now be 2 million because this is the amount that we are dealing with. So then we need to call up this formula. Amount equals to principal into bracket 1 plus rate over 100 raised power 2. For how long? 2 years, which is our time. And then we just substitute all our parameters into this equation. Then we can get the amount to be paid after 2 years. And when you do that, we have this. Amount equals to 2 million to bracket 1 plus 8 over 100 raised to power 2. 8 divided by 100 is 0.08, and by the time you add 0.08 to 1, you have 1.08. By the time you evaluate this, when you evaluate this, the amount to be paid after 2 years is going to be 2,332,800. And from the question, you were told that after each year, he was paying 1 million back. So after 2 years, that means he must have paid 2 million in return. So if he paid 2 million in return after 2 years, how much will be remaining for him to pay? So all you just need to do is subtract 2 million from this amount. So when you do that, when you subtract 2 million from this amount, your final answer is going to be 332,800 naira, which is the final answer. I hope this video has been very helpful, and I want to believe that you've learned one or two things, and if peradventure you didn't get a particular part, you can always play back and watch over and over again. And I want to appeal to you that you like, you share, and even subscribe to this channel to encourage me to make more of this kind of video. And I'll see you in the next lesson.